Hi, this is Jason Burgos, contributing writer for SureDog.com, and this is my interview with UFC Featherweight Dennis Bermudez. We are a few days removed from the Glenn fight. I mean, what are your thoughts looking back on it now? Are there parts of the fight you feel swayed the judges more than you expected?
I mean, the only thing I could think of is like after every round he'd raise his hand. Maybe that persuades him. But like, you're a professional, Like I don't like if I watch someone get their ass beat and they raise their hands. I'm like, what do you do? Like, put your hands down, you idiot. Like when I watch fights and I see guys do that, I'm like, what are you doing? Are you delirious?
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I guess my hat's gotta go off to him. Like, good game planning. Like, like I don't know. Like.
Do you think it's as simple as
Like,
that? Like do you feel technically he did anything that really should have gotten him the win? Like, what did you think? Like rounds wise, what rounds did you win or not win?
I mean, being in there with him, he was firing off that back leg, what was his left kick, and I mean, I was blocking them. I mean, they weren't. I mean, does that count? I don't know. If he throws a hard kick and I block it, what does that mean? I don't even know what that means. Like, okay. Like, me being in there, I'm like, all right, go ahead, dude. Throw those all day. I don't care. Like, not phasing me. So, I don't know.
Do you feel like it's an overall rules issue in the sport, or do you think just how the judges were in Boise were just maybe inexperienced or lacking in truly understanding the sport? Because we know in a lot of these states they'll have sometimes boxing judges do these fights. Do you maybe feel it's a sport thing or maybe just a Boise thing?
I don't know. Like, what do you have to be a judge? What entitles someone to be a judge or not? Like, past fighting experience? Are you a coach? Or you're just, yeah, man, I used to be the boxing commission, and now you guys doing MMA, so I'm now in the MMA commission. Is that how that works? I don't know. Like, what? Mind-boggling.
What have your coaches said since the fight?
I mean, it just leaves a real bad taste in their mouth, like it does me, man. Because they watch me put in all the hard work and make the sacrifices, and to get denied the win like that, just like man, like I don't, I'm like Ryan Flair is like, he's been fighting for a long time too. He's coming kind of to the end of his career. He's like, man, I don't like that. Makes me not even want to fight, dude. Like that shit. Like,
do you plan to make any kind of formal appeal or protest to the athletic commission in Boise, or is that not even an option?
Again, I mean, I haven't done. Like, I mean, I'm not a crybaby, it is what it is. I mean, if I can get like paid on it being reversed, like maybe I would go through with it, I mean, I think he knows himself too that he lost. It just sucks, man. I just don't know. Maybe I'll look into. I thought about maybe reaching out to Dana and be like, hey, man, do you tell me that I lost that fight, and see what he says. But I don't know. I don't want to bother. I don't know.
Why do you feel that you think Glenn thought he lost?
Well, I mean, as soon as the announcement happened, I was like, fuck this, man. I'm fucking out of here. Like, let me get back to my room before I kill somebody. But, people from home watching, when they said the thing, they said his face was like, oh, shit. Oh, cool, man.
Was there any, I mean, speaking of pay, because you lost out on your show money, I'm guessing, was there any opinions given by UFC management backstage about the fight, or even just from fellow fighters backstage feeling you were robbed?
I mean, again, coming from people that watch the fights back at home, they said as soon as they brought it to the panel, like DC and Tyron Woodley and all those guys, they were like, wow, I can't believe they said Glenn won. And that's coming from, two world champions, and Karen Bryan's been around the sport for a very long time. I've seen a lot of fights. I mean, those guys should be like the judge. That should be like the credentials to be a judge, you know.
So nothing from the UFC management in the back. You never get a chance to talk to them, get their thoughts on it.
No, I know the UFC kind of tries to try not to get too involved, you know. I mean, because that's the commission and the UFC. They try to make them separate entities, you know. So you know, I've seen Dana White before. I remember when GSP fought, what was it?
Hendricks.
He looked at GSP and said, "You did not win that fight." And like, you know, but like, what? I don't know if Hendricks got paid on that, or I don't know. You know.
I mean, because of these close split decision losses, I mean, how much would you guess you have financially lost out on? And you know, you have your show and your show and your win bonus. Like, this is now 3 in a row. I mean, 4 losses in a row in general. Like, how much money are you losing out on because of this questionable decision making, especially this last one?
$150,000.
Man. I mean,
over a year and a half.
And were there like life plans in the offing, you know, hoping you get a win that now have been totally put on hold?
I mean, yeah. I mean, there are purchases I would like to make, and they're much easier to make when you get that money up front, you know. You know, I'm in a serious relationship with my lady, and I would like to make her an honest woman. So I mean, that could have helped. You know,
yeah, I know the same exact feeling.
You know, putting buying a ring straight up versus financing it. You know, because I mean, as a fighter, if I can help it, I try to buy things straight up and then manage my money off of what I have left. That's something that you know, like speaking with my brothers and stuff like that have normal jobs, if you will. We're like, yeah, man, yeah, I bought this bike. You know, I just put on a payment plan. It's like, yeah, I can't. It doesn't make sense for me to do a payment plan because I get paid in large sums, and I don't make any more money. You know what I mean? So now I'm paying interest on things that if I could pay for it straight up, boom, do that. You know, it's a little bit financially smarter, you know. If you're a multi-million billionaire, like, unless you're trying to build your credit, you buy things straight up, paying the interest on it, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, that's you know.
Did you you know, since you know you've been in sport for a while and you've had a lot of victories, have you know, made the smart decisions early on? Like, are you settled in terms of you got your house that you plan to live in for a long time, you got your car, or, you know, you were still working on those things and these setbacks have, you know, hindered those kind of major life purchases?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I own a house. I mean, it's not the house that I plan on living in for the rest of my life. I mean, it's not humongous. I don't have the biggest house out of any of my friends by far. I probably have the smallest house out of all my friends that have houses on Long Island, you know.
I mean, but New York prices ain't cheap, so.
What's that?
I mean, New York prices aren't cheap. You know, Lord knows
yeah,
I know.
Yeah, for sure. The taxes here are high. You know, I pay almost $10,000 on taxes for I don't know, I have like a 0.2 acre lot, you know. It's nothing big, you know. I don't know, it's just and like, I mean, I'm not sitting here saying like the UFC like is complete shit pay and it's bullshit and da-da-da. I mean, could it be better? Yeah. But I mean, it's not because you see some fighters, you know, get online and be like, yeah, like the UFC screwed me and did, you know, like, and then Dana will get on and just totally smash them. You know, like, you made this much over this much time.
Yeah.
And I mean, my biggest purchase to date was like I bought myself a $30,000 SRT8 Jeep, which, you know, I think I just and my house, you know. But I mean, being a UFC fighter that has been in the top 10, was in the top 10 for, I don't know, I was in the top 10 for, I don't know, over 4 years. I think that kind of player deserves to be able to own a Jeep Grand Cherokee and a small house, right? I think he deserved that right, you know?
Yeah.
I don't, you know, I'm not, you can ask my friends, I'm a little bit cheap because I know, you know, that it doesn't last forever. You know, I don't have gold chains and expensive watches.
You don't?
I would, yes, I would like a supercharger or to make my Jeep or my car faster, but I know it doesn't pay. You know, that's going to diminish the value of the car over time.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get that money back. So I save that money for when I need new tires or something like that, or, you know, I got a little bit of money in investments, but nothing, not a lot, you know, not 6 figures.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I feel like I've done a nice job trying to manage my money over the years. And the goal with the sport was to make enough money that when I was done fighting, I didn't have to work a normal job. Which, I mean, one day I'm probably going to need a normal job at this point, you know?
Yeah, no, I understand. I mean, obviously this is compounded because it's now 4 losses in a row, you know, the 3 by split decisions, like I mentioned. Does it start to wear on you at all mentally or affect your confidence, you know, or is it more just frustration because you really feel you've won most of those fights, if not all of them?
Yeah, man, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you, dude. I'm smoked. Like, I'm mentally and physically fatigued by everything I've put my body through to go into these fights fully prepared and prepared enough to win. And in the fights, I feel like I put it all on the line and totally exerted myself, you know, and took it to that last gear and used that last bit of energy to finish out the fight. And for it not to go my way, it's almost like I you know, my last couple of losses, man, I don't even have the energy in the back locker room to, like, be upset 'cause I'm that tired and I put that much into the fight, you know, and as soon as I get a little bit of energy back, then it comes in full force, man. Like the pain and the tears and being upset, it hits you once the adrenaline settles down and you get a little bit of energy back to be upset. It definitely it sucks, you know. Yeah.
I mean, the unfortunate thing about this is, you know, that the losses are all questionable, very close. I mean, but there are, you know, multiple losses in a row. Now, is there a fear, as any fighter would at this time, that, you know, you worry that the UFC would release you? Or, I mean, have you been assured that's not going to happen? Like, is that something in the back of your mind that you have to worry about because of this stupid luck that you're put in that position, unfortunately?
I mean, I don't think so. I think the UFC really likes me. I think every time I show up and get out there and fight, they don't have to question, like, oh, is this going to be a boring one? Is Dennis Bermudez going to show up? Every time I enter that octagon, man, I'm getting right after it. There's no standing around. I'm going to, you know, I'm doing everything I can in my power for that 15 minutes to end the fight. You know, so when I'm on a card, man, you're not gonna be like, oh man, this one's gonna suck. You know, I generally bring it, you know. And the UFC likes me. I think the placement on the card kind of even says that. Like, Elkins had a win over me. Chad Mendez has fought for a title multiple times. Jury's higher in the rankings than I am, and I was above all those guys on the fight card. And then the 2 fights before that, I was the co-main event. So I don't think my job's in jeopardy. But I mean, it definitely could be. I would, if they released me, I'd totally see where they were coming from. Because usually the number's 3, right? You usually get lots of 3 losses. You're out of here. But I mean, as a matchmaker, as a CEO or president of a company, I could see you watching those fights and be like, man, he didn't lose. How like it's like watching, let's say you own a construction company and you and you have a worker like doing really good. Like, he's winning for you. Like he's showing up. And then you're like, you know what, dude? Like, Larry loaded less than you, but we gotta let you go. I don't know. I don't.
I mean, where do you go from here? Do you want to get back in the cage soon, or do you just need like a nice long vacation, just to clear your mind, clear your very soul, and just try to, just clear everything up and just get away from the sport for a little bit?
I mean, that was kind of what I was thinking after the last fight. Maybe take a year off, reinvent myself. The UFC came where I contacted my manager, like, hey, man, we want Dennis to fight this time. And I kind of told my manager, like, hey, man, I want to, like, chill. I want to fucking reinvent myself and really miss the sport, And then when he came with the offer, I'm a company man. I'm a sure, I'll fight for you guys. You guys need me? All right, let's rock and roll,
So is it now time to be Dennis Bermudez first, and maybe it's time to finally just take that time and get away from it?
Man, I don't. I got to talk to some people. I got to see what my options are. Because, I mean, all the sacrifices I make, and people from the outside looking in and listening to this or reading this, I get $50,000 to show up, but that's before I pay all my corners to my manager. That's before I pay for the flights, the hotel. That's before I pay taxes. After all that's said and done, I mean, maybe we're looking at $30,000 for 6 months worth of work, and I got punched in the face, and I fucking and the like just the frustration. It's like all the effort that I put into fighting and preparation. If I put it towards any other aspect of work or making money, I think I would totally annihilate. I mean, at the end of the day, the UFC is the top. I think they are a great organization, and I get it. It's a business, and they're trying to make money and take care of their kids and their employees and stuff like that. The new company that just bought the UFC is trying to get their money back. For example, like when you go to a pay toll, it's let's say it's $8. You're not like, you know what? Let me pay $12. I get it.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I want to be in the toll getting the $8 anymore.
Yeah. You rather maybe stay home and save money on the toll a little bit.
I don't know. It's just, I also, there's been a lot of studies coming around and with football players going off the handle and making erratic decisions and beating their wives and shit like that. And they say that MMA is worse than football. And I don't know if I want to chance that either. So I don't know if I want to be like, I don't know if those studies are real. Like, they haven't done studies on MMA fighters yet. Might not be the same.
Yeah. So you worry about things like CTE.
What? Well, if I didn't have 2 kids, I would not give a shit. I would sell my body. I wouldn't care.
Yeah.
But I have these 2 little guys, man, that just make me so happy. And, coming home with like a black eye and my nose being swollen and stuff like that, and like, hey, Dad, you got a boo-boo? I'm like, yeah, son, I got a boo-boo.
Yeah.
that sucks too, you know. And the way I fight too, it's not like I'm this calculated knockout artist that like, yeah, a lot of times I hit one guy and it's over. Like, I generally get in there and we grind for 15 minutes, and I get hit and he gets hit and I get hit again, I get hit again, and he gets hit. It's usually pretty back and forth, you know. Nor do I get in there and grind and just shy away. I put my, you know, I every time I enter the octagon, I go out on my sword, you know. So it's not, you know, I sit there and I watch Elkins. I'm like, man, how much more can that guy do that?
Yeah.
You know, he just takes and I know he's got kids too, man.
Yeah,
it's like, man, I don't. And again, I'm not trying to knock the sport and you know, because this goes back to you know, way back in the day when Greece was having fights to the death for people. We love it.
Mm-hmm.
Human beings love watching it, man. I enjoy watching it, you know. You know, I watched Randy Barron get knocked out right before I went out, and I was like, man, fuck. Like, he's my buddy. He's a buddy of mine.
Yeah.
You know? Not that it affected my performance at all, but fuck, man, that sucks.
Do you think you feel the same if you had won a couple more fights, or it's just like the drain and the mental toll the losses have taken?
Yeah, if I won my last 3 fights, we would not be having this conversation at all. No chance. I'd be like, yup, get me in there. I'm ready. Give me the best guy.
Yeah.
But I'd also have $150,000 more in my pocket, where maybe my dumb brain could compute that better. It would make more sense to me, you know. But $150,000 out of my pocket, and my nose is, you know, swollen and stuff like that. It's like, I'm smart. I'm a lot smarter than people give me credit, you know. I talk with brilliant people, and we share ideas, and I say a lot of goofy stuff, and I try to be a funny guy. But when it really gets serious and we really talk, sometimes I bug people's eyes out. I'm like, whoa, man, man, you're smart. Like, Dennis, you're a lot smarter than people give you credit, man. Like, you're not an idiot, man. You get it, you know. I don't know. Maybe. I mean, my whole life I've been using my physical attributes in terms of getting paid. So, like, when I was working a normal job, I was a laborer. I was moving heavy objects. I was doing landscaping. I was moving things around, you know. Then it converted into fighting. I'm using my body to beat other people up and defeat them, you know. Maybe it's time to do something different. Maybe it's time to try and use my brain more than my body, and, you know.